What is up? Long time no see. I am so excited to come back with the very first interview for the year 2024 with someone really special. With me today, Robin, tell everybody who you are.
Hi, I'm Robin. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, but I've lived in North Carolina for a while. I'm a New Yorker through and through.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons why we connected so much, because we are true New Yorkers. You know, attitude, everything, no matter where you are in the world, that stays with you.
Absolutely.
Stays with you.
Yes.
So I wanted to talk about your journey here in Tanzania. First of all, when was the first time you came to Tanzania?
I think the first time I was here was 2017, I believe. And I came here because, well, it's a long story, but I was doing some work type things,
Right.
and I'm a social worker, and I was doing some international operations for a company, and I ended up getting some teams a few different places, and one of the places was in Tanzania. And you know, I don't know, I had been to Kenya several times, so I thought, like, okay, it's just the same, but there's something very different about Tanzania. It is similar in like landscape, but
Right.
the people here are amazing. And I think, you know, with everywhere, you have to find your people.
Right.
You have to find those people who kind of think like you, or are as, you know, on the same wavelength as you, can appreciate who you are.
Right.
And I feel like I found that. I've been very, very, very lucky. So the connection that I made ended up being like a daughter. She is a daughter to me, literally. And she's one of 7, but one of her other sisters is like a daughter to me as well. And then she has a friend. So when I come to Tanzania, it's like I'm
family.
coming home. Exactly.
Yeah, you coming home like you coming to family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't have the challenges. I've seen so many people mention, oh, I felt like, you know, they saw me as a dollar sign. They only wanted this or they wanted that. And I feel like, you know, everybody's trying to make it, you know.
Right.
That's the thing I know. And being a social worker, having that background, it's no different here than it is anywhere else. Everybody's trying to maximize their ability to make money.
Right.
And so you're going to come across people who that's their priority, to make money.
And
then
there's good and bad people everywhere.
good and bad everywhere. Good and
Yeah.
bad everywhere. I mean, I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
Yeah.
not to knock Brooklyn, but what I'm saying is, if you from Brooklyn, you know there's good, there's bad,
good, there's
and
bad.
there's the worst.
There's
You know
the
what I mean?
worst.
Exactly.
You know, there's places that you can't even step a foot in Brooklyn.
Exactly.
So,
you know,
yeah.
it is what it is, you know. So I think recognizing who you are, being very comfortable with who you are, also you attract people. You attract like
Energy
people.
is everything.
Energy is everything. And I'm saying, if the energy is not matching,
Yeah, you gotta, you know.
bye-bye. Because I do very well by myself. I love me.
Period. And I think that a lot of people, which is not to knock anybody, because I was also a person who came out here by myself. I was with my daughter, but I still came here, you know, alone and stuff like that. And in my personal opinion, I feel like it is easier to do it on your own than with someone else. Because I feel like when you're doing it with someone else, like maybe you can tolerate certain things, but that other person can't tolerate certain things. Or
Right.
maybe, you know, because I've definitely traveled with other people before, and being a person who's, I would say I'm pretty well traveled.
Right.
I kind of know, and then also being from New York, I
Right.
kind of have certain street smartness.
Exactly.
And I would, you know, like I would tell my homegirl, like, hey, you can't do that. Like, we ain't in those type of streets. And
Right.
that can sometimes create conflict. I just feel like it is just so much easier to just go into the culture and figure stuff out yourself, and with locals and stuff like that, rather than pairing up with somebody and then, you know, you guys have different views of things, and, you know, maybe you're okay with living a very basic life, but this person wants to live a luxurious life but
Right.
doesn't have that budget, or maybe you don't have that. I just feel like it's kind of like a slippery slope. It can go really well, but then I also feel like it can go, you know, not so well.
I mean,
Yeah.
my experience being a solo traveler, I mean, I also have traveled with people, but I typically, I mean, I think I've been to maybe 54, 55 countries now.
I need to get up there.
And and the vast majority of those countries, I went by myself.
Yeah.
And the thing is, even if you have one friend with you, you are less likely to interact with local people.
That's true.
Because you
I
have
never even
that
thought
one
about that.
person to talk to. You
Right.
have one person to do everything with. You have this
Right.
one person, and it sort of changes the dynamic. So
Yeah.
when you are by yourself, if
And you also have a different experience.
for sure.
Yeah.
And but being by yourself, not only what you need, and you're focused on what you need, but you also make these connections that really are authentic and legitimate for you.
Right.
And I think that that's the most important thing. Like, I cannot say enough about the goodness of my daughter Nima. Like, Nima is everything.
Yeah.
If I have a sniffle, Nima is at the pharmacy.
Okay, period.
You understand what I'm saying?
Period.
We're driving in the car and we've been in the car an hour, Nima is like, pull over so I can get mom some water.
That's how I feel like obviously, like,
Your in-laws.
I have family through marriage and stuff like that. It's a little different, but even so, like, we all know sometimes in-laws can be nightmares,
difficult.
they
Exactly.
can be nightmares, but like, that's how I feel about my family here too. Like, this is like family. Family. And they really, I feel like a lot of the Tanzanian culture is to, like, be open and make you feel like family, and they don't want you to feel really uncomfortable and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And at least that's the experience that I have.
Absolutely. To the point where, I would love you guys to see these sneakers of mine. I don't know if you can see them, but these sneakers look brand new. Why? Because before I was leaving, my other daughter, Sauda, was like, oh, Mom, we have to clean. It is, and I'm like, no, it's not that serious. But this is how it is. Like, and elders are really respected.
Oh, absolutely.
They're really respected and
Yep.
loved. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And even if a little child that you don't even know passes you on the street, they're like, Shikamo.
Shikamo, yep.
Yes.
They're gonna greet you.
They
even
want
if
to
they
greet
don't
you.
know you.
So
Yeah.
they're saying, I offer you respect, and then you
Right.
respond to them that I accept your respect, right?
Right.
So I think that when you find the right people, it makes all the difference.
It really does.
It makes all the
does.
difference.
And if you find the wrong people, which I have definitely come across wrong people, don't let it discourage you.
Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Because the population here is like, what, 60 million people? Like, don't let it discourage you. Or maybe this particular area is not for you. Try different. Like, don't just. You wouldn't do that. I always say this. You wouldn't do that back at home. Like, if you because I've gotten robbed in Brooklyn. I say this all the time. I got robbed in Brooklyn 3 times. Okay, downtown Brooklyn. I got punched in the face. Got my phone. I didn't bit. But I still lived in Brooklyn.
Right.
You just gotta learn from the experience.
You learn
All right,
from the
next
experience.
time I'm not gonna be walking and texting. You just learn from the experience.
Right.
But realistically, what are some challenges that you have faced in Tanzania?
No, I'm gonna keep it 100.
Keep it 100.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
Keep it 100. Because there are challenges.
There are challenges. I remember the day that I went to shower and there was no water. And when I say there was no water, I mean no water
Not
in
a
the
drop.
tank, not a drop. I was like, Nima to the rescue. So I was like, Nima, there's no water. And she was like, no, Mom. I'm like, no water. She was like, okay, I'm on my way. Nima arranged for water to come to me. They brought, like, I don't know how many buckets, how many times the boda made the trip.
But if you didn't have Nima,
If I didn't have Nima,
You
I would
understand what I'm saying?
have been like, not only upset, but I would have been like, now what do I do?
Yeah.
I would not have known what to do. That local connection is everything. And she, took care of that. Another challenge is that, we're very used to having power 24 hours a day. Like, it's never an issue.
Yep.
And the power goes out. Like, it was like clockwork. It would go out about 6:45 and then might be off until 9 or 10 or even midnight. And you're like, but you learn, you adapt.
100%.
You
adapt.
adapt.
You get power banks.
Exactly. You have your power
get
banks.
solar,
You have
generator, whatever it
you
is.
do whatever you have
gotta
to do. So it may not be the way you're used to, but that doesn't mean that it's not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And I just want to say one pointer, what she said, especially specifically about the water. So this is not an issue everywhere in Tanzania. This is issues in particular areas. So, and this is the reason why, just to, advertise myself, this is why you should book a consult, because there are areas specifically here in Arusha that has good flowing water, and there's some areas that does not. So like where I lived for 2 years, zero water issues. Like the water was always flowing. Electricity issues,
Right.
but zero water issues.
Right.
But the area that I live in now, I mean, there's been a time where we went 3 weeks without water.
Without water coming in.
You know, we had
Right.
to buy private water and stuff like that. So knowing the area that you're going into and knowing the water, are there water issues? Are there, you know, is water naturally flowing? Is things going and stuff like that? All of those things are important. And when people ask, well, why should I book you? Why should, you know, these are the things that you get out of it.
Because
you know what I'm saying?
a person who's here would kind of
You're
know
not going to
those
know that
things.
on Google.
You know
what I'm saying?
And if I had needed to fill the whole tank, Nima knows the people to call. Her husband, they'll
Yep.
call for a truck because
And having that connection
they
is so
have
important.
that connection. So
Yeah.
I mean, I could have had my 5,000 liter tank filled up
Yep.
with the quickness, but
Yep.
she did the short term thing, and then the water was back.
Yep.
You know, but I'm just saying to
It's
have
a
somebody
challenge.
who it's a challenge. It is very different. You know, the markets, the local markets, which I love them, but they are a little bit, you know, challenging.
And they're very overwhelming.
Yes, they're a little, it's a
Oh
little
my
bit
God.
challenging.
Everyone's yelling at you, saying, buy this mango,
Right,
buy
come over,
that.
come to me,
come
come
to
to
me,
me,
come
you
to
know.
me, and then you feel bad. You want to give to everybody, but you
But you
can't.
can't.
You know.
So again, when I go to the market on Thursday, they have the market on Thursday. Nemo's right there. First of all, she's never going to let me be overcharged for anything.
Know your
gonna-
prices.
Exactly. She knows all the prices, and she knows how to negotiate and do all those different things. So she's really wonderful like that. I live, you know, well, not say live, but I have staying in an area that is, you know, probably like an hour from where you are. Yeah, so I have to travel, you know, especially if I want to go to Shoppers. I mean, if you are in the Arusha area, everybody knows Shoppers because you want to.
How do you feel about the supermarkets we have here? Because to me, I feel like they're a little overpriced.
Of course, they're overpriced
You know?
because they bring in all those. They're
Importing.
They're bringing all these imported things in, and they are catering specifically to
Westerners.
Obviously, I was gonna say Mzungu, but
yeah, no, it's true. Yeah.
they're catering to Mzungu, right? So
Yeah.
that is the thing. And so I mean, I might go there to get a few things that I really enjoy, like cheese, because cheese is really not a thing. It's not a Tanzanian thing.
It's not.
Yeah, so I miss it. You know, bacon,
Yeah.
egg, and cheese. You know what it is. You know what it is.
Okay.
The breakfast of champions.
Period. Yeah. But I feel like it balances because I feel like in the States you would spend, you know, $4 or $5 on an avocado, but here you'll spend like 25 cents on an avocado.
Exactly.
But then in the States you'll probably spend maybe like $6-7. And the guys, I don't really know the prices in the States anymore, but like, you know, on cheese, but then here you would spend like $10.
Exactly.
So, you know, I do feel like it balances, and I also feel like it kind of, at least for me, it kind of forces me to eat a lot more natural food.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, you know, I gotta really think about how badly I want to eat that cheese. I think about how badly I want to eat, you know, the things that are processed.
Right.
So it's like in the States, processed food is really cheap, it's easy accessible, you
Right.
can get it. But out here, processed foods is really expensive and hard to get.
And
the
thank goodness
natural
for that.
foods-
Thank
yeah,
goodness for that.
like it helps your health a lot.
Absolutely,
You know?
absolutely. I mean, when I go to the market, I would say in a week, I probably spend about 10,000 on vegetables for myself for the week.
That's about
$4
$4 and something cents.
$4
Mhm.
for a week's worth of vegetables. You know what I mean? And so when you factor that in, when I'm getting meat from the butcher, like I'm usually getting like the fillet, and it is the price is very reasonable.
Yeah.
So in general, I'm not spending a lot of money on food.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, of course I'm drinking bottled water. So I mean, the costs are really fairly low.
Yeah.
The costs are fairly low.
It's affordable.
You know, it's very affordable, and like I said, you have a different feeling about things. Like I don't mind going to Shoppers and getting a few items
Absolutely.
from Shoppers because I don't spend that much money on the regular
Right.
stuff.
The stuff that you
Right.
do on a weekly basis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, it doesn't bother me at all. It all balances out. And I mean, I'm not saying you can come out here broke because you sure better not.
No.
But
I always say that a lot of people think that they can come out here with a savings account, and I always say that you have to have some type of reoccurring income because it's really easy to blow.
Right.
Because yeah, like things are cheaper, but it can't last you a lifetime.
Exactly.
You know, like you
Exactly.
still gotta keep buying stuff. You still gotta maintain the house. You gotta buy the gas for the stove. You know, all of those things
Right.
are, you know, they have cost, and especially if you're one to do like tourism things like safaris and stuff. Those things are extremely expensive.
Yes.
So you know, you gotta keep all of that in mind, and this is why I say everybody has to have a different budget. It's not very easy because I get the question a lot. How much money should I save to live in Tanzania? And I always say, like, it depends on you. You know,
Absolutely.
it depends on, like, I know some people where they're vegans, they only eat fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. Their grocery bill is way less than mine, okay? Because we are big meat eaters in my house.
Right.
So we eat chicken, beef,
Right.
goat, but we eat everything.
Everything.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
you know, our balance is going to be higher than, you know, than somebody who's
Not eating all of that.
not eating all of
You know,
that.
and
you know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
we're used to, and being from the States, we're used to like bigger portions of things.
That too.
Yeah, we're used to bigger portions of meat,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the meat that I would probably put on my plate would probably fit on 2 or 3 plates because that's what I'm used to having a big portion of meat. That's just the way it has been for us.
Yeah.
But I will say that there's nothing that I have really wanted that I haven't been able to get here.
So my last question would be, what advice would you have for somebody that is coming out here?
I would say, you know, find your people. You know, it's really important to link up with people who are, like I said, like-minded, who are going to have your best interests at heart. And don't be so sensitive about things because it's
Yeah.
different here.
A lot of things are not personal to you.
Right. It's different. So I feel like you do what you do. You do what you need to do to prepare yourself in the best way that you can. You link up with good people. You figure out exactly what's needed for residency permits, or if you're just coming for a couple of months or weeks or whatever your case is, you do what you need to do. And that's it. I think that it doesn't require a PhD, but getting help from someone like Diamond is going to give you some inside information
Absolutely.
as to what you need. But everybody needs a Nima in their life. I'm trying to tell you right now. I hope you will meet up with Nima and talk.
Yeah.
She's a little bit shy, but she is really, really helpful, and you know, you
Finding
need
that
a good
person that's helpful makes a huge difference.
It makes a difference. It makes a
Yeah.
huge difference. So I just want to say thank you very much. I'm very inspired by your content. I followed you and your husband when y'all were going all to these other countries and buy a car and all the struggles and everything. So I just wish you the best of luck
Thank you, you
to you and your family. And I'll see you when I get back.
I'll see you too.
I'm like, I got a little sister, y'all.
Yes, you do. I'm here in Arusha. I'm gonna always be here. This is home for us.
Exactly.
You know,
I get
so
it. I get it. And I will
yeah.
be back as soon as I can. I will be back as soon as
Absolutely.
I
Oh,
can.
I have no doubt in my mind.
Yes,
it was so
yes.
nice seeing you.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.